Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk to you about outlasting your competition, the 5 principles that you need to apply if you want to be the last man standing. Now, but before we get there, you might be thinking to yourself, how can I outlast my competition? I'm struggling to get through the day. I have a career that I'm not excited about, a little soft around the belly. My love life is non-existent. There's no way I can even imagine myself being successful. And trust me, I have been there before. I've had many setbacks. In 2005, I bought my first home, but had to get rid of it 5 years later when the whole, mortgage crisis took place. Now in 2016, I thought I found the woman that I'd end up with and possibly marry at one point, but I moved in. And 4 months later, I moved out. 2018, I ran my first marathon. It was such a horrible experience that I finished towards the end, almost 7 hours. We had old ladies that were passing me on by. But what I didn't do is I didn't quit. That same summer in 2018, I went to my high school reunion. And it was there that I noticed that a lot of people, just from my personal opinion, looked like life had gotten the best of them. And I thought to myself, hey, I'm probably not doing so bad after all. Principle number 1 is to develop a stoic approach to life. This was actually the hardest of the 5 principles for me to master or conquer because for most of my life, it was easy to be weak-minded. It was easy to allow a situation to occur and feel like there was nothing that I can do about it. But years ago, I came across a guy by the name of Ryan Holiday. You may have heard of him. He's very big into Stoicism and philosophy, specifically Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca. Now, he recommended one book above all others, and that's Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. So a few years ago, I bought Marcus Aurelius's Meditations and started reading it, and it just started to blow my mind. The quotes that were in the book, the approach to life and philosophy. I love the book so much that I ended up buying 9 copies for some of my closest friends because I wanted to share that with others. And so I went from a person that something would occur and it would bother me, it would get the best of me, to figuring out, hey, okay, this thing has happened. How do I accept it? How do I just deal with it and then move on? I want to touch on another book. It's not a book on Stoicism by any means, but it's The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I read that book years ago when I was in my 20s, but I recently reread it. And when you get towards the end, he talks about surrendering. You want to live in the moment? You want to be here right now? Surrender. So what happens when you get a parking ticket? You walk into your car and you get a parking ticket because you didn't see the sign. You know what you do? You just pay it. You pay it and you move on. What happens when Netflix raises their prices, say $5 or $10? You know what? Cancel it. Do something better with your time. A date you had planned for Friday night, she cancels on you at the last hour. Of course, you're going to be upset. Of course, it's going to get the best of you, but don't let it. Do something relaxing. Go out for sushi by yourself, watch a movie, relax, surrender. There's no need for you to be upset and make it a bigger deal than it is. Now, there's a lady out there by the name of Mel Robbins who also happens to be an author, but what caught my attention about Mel Robbins is that she has something, or maybe she learned it from somebody else. It's called the let them theory, and it applies in the same way. Hey, your buddy can't go to the gym today? Hey, let him be home. I'll go work out by myself. Your friends said they wanted to travel to Europe with you, but now they can't make it. Let them stay home. I'll go to Europe on my own, explore Europe, and go to all the places that I want to explore. Your wife wants a divorce. I know that's very, very difficult, but you got to let her. Let her go out and see what the world is without you. Now, when you develop this stoic approach to life, I'm not saying that you can't handle anything that comes your way. There are some very difficult things out there that can, of course, occur. But you're going to be way better for it. And I know today, in comparison to where I was at 10 or 15 years ago, it's made a huge difference in my life. Now, principle number 2 to outlast your competition is to get jacked. Now, you don't have to get shredded and be on roids looking like a bodybuilder, but you know what being fit is to you, being lean and muscular. Now, a lot of people will say with regards to the gym, hey, it's too far away. I don't have time. I don't want to get injured. But the reality is those are all excuses. Because again, if you want to be that person that as you age, you're looking good, you're feeling good, and you have energy, then fitness is 100% a necessity. It's something that is definitely not optional at all. Now, think about this. Your competition wants to hit the snooze button. They want to go back to bed in their comfortable sheets. They don't want to get out there. David Goggins always talks about how he's willing to get up at 3, 4, or 5 in the morning. Doesn't matter if it's raining or snowing or hot as hell. He's doing it because he knows that his competition, they're not doing it like he is. And you can apply the same thing in your life. You don't have to be as hard and as ruthless as David Goggins, but you know what hard is for you. Now, someone might say, hey, Fernando, well, I've been with my wife for 10 years and we have 3 kids. So of course I got a dad bod, but she loves me regardless. I don't want you to believe that that's okay, because there's a lot of men who are stuck in sexless marriages out there. I don't know the exact number, but I want to believe it's somewhere closer to 30%. And that's a high enough number that that you don't want to ever end up there, because your wife no longer looks at you as sexy and as attractive. Same thing if you have a girlfriend. It can definitely happen for a lot of different reasons as well. So don't give that excuse. Get in the best shape that you possibly can be in. So as you continue down this path, you'll start to get compliments. It feels really good. Women will compliment you on your physique, on the way that you look. Even dudes will say, hey, bro, it looks like you work out, or tell me about your workout routine. What do you do? It feels good. So again, you want to outlast your competition, get in shape. Because the reality is most people, specifically most men, they're nowhere close to being in their optimal fitness level. But you will be soon. Principle number 3 to outlast your competition is to make bank. Now, when I look back on my life, that making money has been one of the hardest things that I've had to figure out as well, right? Of course, building a good physique and getting a strong mind were also very difficult. But making money has always been a challenge as well, up until maybe about the last 10 years or so. But prior to that, I was making around $70,000 a year in my late 20s. And then, I move in a different direction. I go work for myself as a realtor. And initially, I'm not making as much money as I thought. I get out of real estate and I go work for a nonprofit, telling myself, oh, I'm really spiritual. I'm enlightened. I can go work for a nonprofit. I can read these books. I can do yoga. I can meditate. And I'm making like $12 an hour living with a cousin of mine, paying $475 a month to rent a room. And I realized this isn't it. So about 12 years ago, I got back into real estate. And from that point, I've now climbed to where I'm at today, where I'll make multiple 6 figures a year, and hopefully a lot more in the future as I continue to grow and to leverage my opportunities within the business. Now, a lot of people, well, actually there's a stat out there. I think around 60% of Americans cannot afford a $1,000 emergency. The mic almost fell, but see, this is real life right here, right? So kind of getting back to my point here is that, again, most of your competition, they're struggling financially. They have credit card debt, they have school loans. They're just trying to get by. So if you can actually thrive, that's going to raise you up to that next level. Now, think about this. What can you do to start making the money that you deserve? Well, if you want to be a doctor or a lawyer, going to an engineer, going to a profession that's absolutely going to pay you what you're worth, for the most part will pay you what you're worth, then go down that route. Now, if you don't have that skill set, or you didn't go to school, or you just don't like school, I would say commission sales. You can sell real estate, you can be a mortgage lender, you can sell cars, you can sell sofas. I knew a guy one time made $900,000 selling airplane parts. So there's so many things that you can do in the world of sales that I would employ you, especially if you're a younger dude, get into sales and work your way up. And then from there, save your money, invest your money, start a business, do whatever you can to keep working your way up the ladder. Again, your competition is not doing this. They're, for the most part, living check to check. Principle number 4 is to pursue difficult goals. Now, you might say to yourself, well, I'm really fit. I'm making $300,000 a year. I have a stoic approach to life. Nothing bothers me. What's the point of pursuing a difficult goal? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because that's when you get lazy. That's when you get lackadaisical, when you think you have it all going your way. Next thing you know, something happens, throws you off your game, and you're back to square one. So in the meantime, what you want to do is find challenges that you want to pursue. Is it running? Do you want to run an ultra marathon? Do you want to be a stand-up comedian? Do you want to write a book? Think of something that's really going to push you and stick with it. Don't be that old son of a gun that woulda, coulda, or as Tony Robbins says, should all over himself. Don't be that guy. Now make a list. What are some things that you've always wanted to do yet were a little difficult? You weren't quite ready for it. Was it riding a motorcycle? Was it learning a second language? Learning to play guitar? Pursue those goals. If you have to hire a coach, hire a coach. To join a group training program, join a group training program. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be boxing, it could be MMA, it could be jujitsu. It could be so many different things out there that you can go out there and pursue. That way you're just not living a life where, you work and you come home and you watch sports all day or Netflix until you fall asleep, right? We want to get you active and thinking about these big goals that are really, the thing is, they're going to make you a more interesting person. You have more to talk about and more stories to share. Your competition is not living the good life. They're struggling out there, but you are. You're living the good life. You look good, you're fit, you're making money, you have a stoic approach to life. You've lived a life where you were able to do the things that you wanted to, travel to interesting places, eat delicious food, see things that most people will not able to see, write a book. And that's the thing, you're gonna look back one day and be proud of yourself. When you're an old man and you're talking to your grandkids, you're gonna say, hey, I did all these things. That was me. And as you look back on your life, you're going to think about a lot of people that you currently know or used to know and just realize like they were miserable. They always felt like life was beating them up. It got the best of them for whatever the reason was. But you did not live that kind of life. You lived a life where you traveled to amazing places, you ate delicious dinners, and you took care of your family and friends. You're going to look back one day, not with regret, but with honor, with pride of the life that you lived. And to me, this probably today is the most important principle. Not to say that I have the other four mastered and under control, but it is more important to me as I start to get older to realize that I lived a good life. I lived a quality life. The people around me benefited by me being in their lives. Now, what I want you to do is this. I want you to go ahead and just make a list. Make a list of 10 things that if you were to do these 10 things over the next 40, 50, 60 years of your life, it would constitute a good life. Go ahead, make that list. And if you are thinking about getting married or in the process of getting married, I want you to watch this video over here.